Hello everyone and welcome back to F1 2019. It's time to head to round 7 Canada after our win at Monaco. You see we closed the gap to the top of the table, only 36 points back of Max Verstappen in first place, and we're hitting a spot in the season that I particularly enjoy. A lot of tracks that I enjoy driving and have a decent time at, you know, bar one. I mean, we're headed to Canada. I'm a big fan of driving Canada. France, still having a little bit of time figuring that one out, but then Austria, England, Germany are a bunch of tracks that I'm a big fan of driving. So we'll pop into the garage. We'll see another development failure. Unfortunately, one good, one bad. We have the points on hand, so we're just going to go ahead and repurchase that so it's ready for next week's race and to get our aero back up on board. But we have pretty much jumped very close to the top of the table in the development progress. Racing Point, though, is still kind of streaking out ahead. I think we'd be about on par if we had that second upgrade come in. But let's see what we can do here at Canada coming up. We're going to take a peek at the engine health. I think I'm going to make some slight adjustments to what I've got equipped to try and just kind of balance the engine wear so far. Only have taken one set of penalties early in the season when we had that pretty poor qualifying show earlier, but looks like we're keeping the same power unit and we're going to have a new gearbox coming in.
Welcome again then, and we hope you're ready for another fantastic session as the teams prepare to unleash their cars for qualifying at the Canadian Grand Prix. When it comes to getting lap time out of this circuit, it's traditionally been about maximising top speed. Do you simply remove as much downforce as possible, hang on into the corners and max out down the straights?
Top speed is a key factor for this circuit. Even if you can achieve the same lap time as someone running less wing than you, chances are you'll find overtaking difficult if you have too much drag.
All right, here we are coming into the hairpin for the first time on our first flying lap in Q1. You heard them talk about the long straights and really maximizing the straight line speed. I'm actually running a slightly higher downforce setup than normal. The speed traps typically during practice sessions put me between 11th and 14th in the overall straight line speed. So definitely not the fastest car, really going to be relying on making up ground in the early two sectors and then relying on the draft and DRS for the final sector. We set a purple final sector there, put ourselves P8 at the moment, and now this time coming down, we've actually got the draft off of our teammate coming down that back straight, so we pick up a little bit of extra time in the delta. You see up almost 6/10, a little over 6/10 as we cross the line. Now we're up into P3, so good timing for our teammate to be coming down the back stretch. And one more time, final lap of qualifying. We're right behind Kimi Räikkönen in the slipstream, increasing that delta. But unfortunately, we're just going to have to kind of try and lunge it to not lose time behind him, but we still lose time on that final lap there because we just met him at just the wrong time. End up falling down a little bit down the order. P7 though, it's Q1, so we're pretty comfortably into Q2 to see what we can make do there. So here we are out on the medium tires. Russell gets out of the way of us, thankfully. A little bit over the track there. For some reason, not a corner cut. Some interesting track limits here on this track. I try to play by the standard rules and try not to cut those, but sometimes the car just gets a little unsettled and you run across those. Here we are down the long stretch and just trying to set a good lap time on these medium tires to get through, to try and set up a good strategy because in the practice sessions I was pretty down on pace overall. So I'm just kind of hoping to make it into Q3, and there's a big time difference between the medium and soft tires. You see a full half second down there. Second lap of Q2 on another flying lap, a little bit of an improvement, almost 4/10 down from Hamilton. So we're P5 at the moment, so we're going to hop ahead to the tail end of Q2 out on the soft tires. P5 just right now. We're going to see if we can improve on that time. We're going to see we're one of the last cars out, but we are losing time on the delta there, so it looks like we might not be able to improve on these soft tires even if we wanted to. Run out a little bit wide, but we'll see what cars cross the line, see if it bumps us down. We just need to be top 10 and we'll be able to maintain our starting tires on the mediums there. So use every bit of track on the exit of the hairpin there. You see we picked up a good amount of time on the Delta, only a half a tenth down at this point. So the remaining cars should be crossing the line right about now. Everybody should be across. We're sitting P6 at the moment, so it looks like we're in pretty good shape. It looks like there's pretty much one car left. We're just going to slow it down, kind of take a breather, and see if that other car kind of closes up. Make sure nobody else is getting close. I think we should be able to cross line and hold our position essentially. Yeah, P6 is what we officially get there. There is a little bit of a bug in the system where if you're off track when guys are setting times, then they somehow set some just amazing laps and you tend to fall down the order. So that's why you always want to be the last car out on track in the game, even if you're not setting a new time. It's just to keep them from getting those ridiculous times that send you right down the order. But here we are, Q3. We've only got the one set of tires. We want to keep a set of softs fresh, which we managed to do in Q2 there, I believe. We kept an extra set of softs on board. But we've got, we're sitting obviously 10th because we haven't set a time. We've got a car right behind us. It's just a matter of trying to outrace him to the line there, kind of bump over the curbs. And see, Leclerc right now is up. We are about a second off of his best pace, so we are pretty far down the order. We were only a couple of tenths off in Q2 of the top pace, but it looks like they found a little bit of extra gear this time by, and also, you know, running just the one lap, not a real good chance to get in rhythm. See, a 108.2 is what he crossed the line with. We get a little bit of a track limit warning. Not enough to invalidate our lap, but we catch the warning and dart for the line. Let's see where we're starting.
And with qualifying complete, let's review our top three today. Perez, Hamilton, and Charles Leclerc. Well, that wraps up qualifying, but don't worry, we'll be back tomorrow as we head into the Grand Prix. Canada has a true love affair with Formula One. The grandstands here are always packed to capacity. It's a country that has given us the likes of Gilles and Jacques Villeneuve, the thrilling Grand Prix of '79, of '98, and of course 2011. They love their motorsport in Montreal, and we absolutely love coming here. With top speeds of around 210 miles per hour heading into the overtaking opportunity of turn 13, the 2.7 miles of the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve are some of the quickest on the Formula One calendar. There are 14 corners in total, with 60% of the lap taken at full throttle, and average lap speeds clock in at about 130 miles per hour. Alongside me once again for coverage of today's race, it's none other than the great Anthony Davidson. Why don't we start by talking about Valtteri Bottas? Looks like they've got a tough race in store today, as grid penalties from changing power unit components has forced them further down the field.
But on the bright side, at least those fresh components can help them maintain the power they need to come through the pack. I expect to see them take a more aggressive approach today to make up for the compromised start.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. It's Sergio Perez on pole position today, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Weber, Oldtimer, and Stroll, Albon, Russell, Verstappen, and Sebastian Vettel, Sainz, Giovinazzi, Daniel Ricciardo, and Magnussen, Gasly, Bottas, Kimi Raikkonen, and Devon Butler. Grosjean and Lando Norris starts from the back of the grid, and with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
All right, here we are on the grid. We're going to be able to start on these medium tires. It's suggesting a two-stop for us. So that's what we're going to kind of look to do. I think the better opportunity is going to be to get on the soft tire at the very, very end. So just kind of checking to see what the tire, checking to see what a one-stopper would do. Picks up about 5 seconds on the total race time. So we lose a little bit too much on the higher degradation. And then also just going a one stop onto the hards, it's still going to lose us about 3.5, 4 seconds almost. So Definitely the two-stop is the better option in this case, so we'll go ahead and revert that strategy and kind of go with the suggested one. So we are going to run pretty short on the first two stints, not really take a lot out of the tires. They're going to have a lot of life left in them, but then hopefully get on the fastest tire at the very end here. So here we are, 5 red lights on the line here. Let's see if we can get a good start this time. A little bit of an initial surge, but of course, that second phase, we kind of lose a little bit of ground. We're going 3 wide into turn 1 as we're pinched against Alex Albon there. And right up behind Lucas Weber there. A little bit of a warning for the collision with Albon. Not our fault, you know, trying to go 3 into 1, but through turn 1, we managed to hold our 5th position that we started the race in. So now it's just a matter of trying to settle in a little bit here. All the cars around us are on the soft tire. We've got to try and get temperature into these mediums, so the front group is starting to run away from us a little bit. We're going to already have to go defensive against Alex Albon there as he looks to go around the outside into this back chicane here. But we managed to cover it off, utilize that bit of track that apparently the game is letting us use inside of the curbing. But this is the one spot we're pretty good in is on the brakes into the hairpin. We tended to pick up a lot of time on the Delta, but we just need to try and get in the slipstream. We are running a little bit of a slower straight line speed than a lot of other cars. It looks like on the map behind us, it looks like George Russell's gotten through and caused a little bit of a traffic jam behind. There's a big bunch and has opened up a little bit of a gap behind us. So let's see what it is at the line. Perez leads the first lap of the race, but we set the fastest final sector. We're only a half second back. Wow, we've picked up already at 1.3 seconds on George Russell there. He really held that group up, but now let's kind of focus forward and see what we can make happen. I mean, it's not an easy track to overtake on. There's really 2 good opportunities. There's obviously into the hairpin after the back straight here, and then there is into turn, the final turns, the final chicane, hit that heavy braking zone after that long DRS straight. There is a DRS straight on the front here as we're coming out of that straight right now, so it is a potential overtaking opportunity, but it's not particularly great to attack on. But here we are into the hairpin once again. You see, we gain a fair bit of time coming into the hairpin, and we lose a lot of it throughout the rest of the lap there. Again, so much sparking on this car. I mean, I try and raise the ride height, try to increase the suspension stiffness, but we still get that sparking. So I think it's just something we're going to have to live with. Car does seem to drive a little better since we've raised the ride height. I was definitely getting some ill effects from the scraping, but it's just kind of something we got to deal with. I don't want to raise it up so high that we start to compromise our underfloor aero. But here we are, hopping at just a little bit ahead. Lap 6, we've managed to stick with this front group that is squabbling a little bit. We're going to be very late on the brakes. Go right up the inside of Lucas there, kind of squeeze him out since we are far enough alongside and past him, and that's going to get us up a position to set us up down the DRS straight here. So we pop up in the wing. We're tucked into the slipstream of Charles Leclerc there, but we're going to see they're not going to be quite close enough to really attack, but they're much slower through that chicane, so we have to kind of ease out. But now we're in a 2x2 drag race down the front straight. We've got the wing open. Perez is squeezing us. We're going to try and go up the inside, 3 into 1. Perez turns in on us, gets a little bit out of whack. We get off the throttle to try and keep him from being a full spin and taking our wing out. But he didn't really have much room. I can't blame him, but it was really another 3 into 1 situation. He gets a little out of sorts into the first corner of that chicane there, so it allows us to slip up the inside. And now we are freshly into P2. 7 laps into this race. The soft tires are definitely going to start to feel a little bit of pain, but you see our fuel mixture dipping into the red on the fuel mix leftover laps. For some reason, this car seems to be a little bit underfueled, so we're going to have to try and save some fuel in certain areas. We're going to go lean on the more twisty bits and then get it cranked back up as we head down the long straights. But that is something we are now going to have to kind of worry about. But Hamilton's got great pace. He was being kind of held up by Perez early in the race. Even though Perez had the better qualifying speed, Hamilton really opened up the gap as soon as he got through, and now we've got Leclerc behind us as well. But here we are dropping into the chicane right up near the wall of champions, not taking it quite as aggressively as we possibly could.
Our data shows the tyres are okay right now. We anticipate good levels of grip.
All right, so an update. Tires seem to be in decent shape. George Russell diving into the pits already. I guess grabbing a new set of rubber. I think he started on the soft tire and he's running that 2-stop. So we should be looking at some of these other front runners diving in fairly soon here as we have the fuel mix turned back down to the lean mix. Try and get a little bit of extra margin in the fuel tank at this point so we don't have to fuel save late in the race. But Hamilton's pretty much holding a steady gap in front of us. We've got a pretty steady gap to Leclerc behind us. So let's see if we can start to reel in Hamilton as his tires start to fall off. And then we're going to hit another important phase. We're going to have to really hustle the car once he's in the pit lane. Try and get a little bit of a gap on the mediums and see if we can come out of our pit cycle ahead of him. But it is going to be a tough thing. He's definitely got very good pace. And once he gets onto the fresh tires comparative to us, it's definitely going to be a battle. But here we are through the chicane again. Swing it right out onto the curbing. Not too far off of Hamilton at this point. Looks like we got the 2 Ferraris behind us. It looks like Vettel has also slashed his way past Sergio Perez, who might have had a little bit of damage from our collision. I don't think so. Typically, you don't take too much damage from wheel banging in the game, especially the way he did, but maybe he cooked his rear tires a little bit in that back end slide that he had to kind of save his way out of. And we get a little out of sorts coming out of that corner. For some reason, coming out of that turn, you're getting on the power aggressively while there's still a fair bit of steering lock. The back end really likes to step out on that corner coming down that kind of second last straight. Another get on the curb, back end stepping out. So we're starting to feel some effects of the tire deg. And for some reason, Lewis Hamilton is just steady as a rock and is really nursing those soft tires. I think just really what's happening is we're just getting the tires a little too heated. So we're going to have to be a little bit easier coming out of some of these slow corners the next couple times. Get those rear tires cooled back off so they have grip again, because we spun them up a few times. As you see Hamilton diving into the pits, so we are going to inherit first place from him. Looks like one of the Ferraris has dipped in as well, the other one staying out with us on his soft tires, so he will probably lose a little bit of time to us as we have a little bit more life. And we're just going to try and, unfortunately, a lap that we really would want to push on and try and open up a big gap for our pit strategy. We're going to have to try and nurse the rear tires to get the temperatures back down so they're not sliding out. There's yellow flags.
Drop your speed. Our delta is too low and we risk a penalty.
And something has happened to somebody. We've got a safety car coming out, so we are going to have our pit strategy kind of forced. So I'm considering going for a hard tire at this point. Maybe kind of taking a look. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to say stick to it. But I think I'm going to come in this lap and try and get a new set of tires while we're under the safety car, because right now Hamilton's had a rough go of it because he had just pitted this lap, so he's going to lose a lot of time to the safety car because he's not going to be able to come through as quickly. We're coming down to the decision-making time here, coming down the back straight. We're going to switch to the medium tires. I think, yeah, we're going to go with the medium tires. We're going to stick to the 2-stop strategy. It's going to be a little early to go 25 full laps on those hards, I think, and keep good pace. So we're going to stick to the 2-stop, but we are going to take advantage of this. So we're just going to stretch out the middle stint on the mediums a little longer to get to those soft tires at the very end. So here we are, tires on, out of the pits. Let's see the cars that stay out. A couple cars have gone by. Get on the throttle nice and early. We kind of race our way to the limiter line. And we come out P3. Okay, so we've only just lost the position to Hamilton here. It looks like Giovinazzi, I believe it is, the other Red Bull out in front, is holding position out there behind the safety car. He is still on his starting tires. I believe he started on the mediums. So he has taken the lead via not pitting. Really helped George Russell out, who had to make that early pit stop. But here we are as we come onto the back straight, waiting for Giovinazzi to start the race back up. And there we go. They're stepping off a little slow on the get-go, but nobody can pass until we get to the start-finish line. So even if we got a great run through the final chicane, it's not an area that we're going to be able to overtake on. It's really a matter of getting our power down now, getting across the line, and we've managed to save a ton of fuel thanks to that safety car. So we're going to be able to run in the rich fuel mix a little bit more throughout this race. Running a little wide on the entrance turn 1. Medium tires not fully up to temperature in spite trying to weave and get the heat in there. But Giovinazzi on those worn mediums is definitely going to be a bit of a bottleneck for us. Now obviously with the safety car out, DRS becomes disabled. It's 3 laps again until it is enabled again. So it's basically like the start of the race. We're not going to get the easy passes down that back straight. We're going to have to wait 3 laps or try and make the move somewhere else. Looks like Lewis is trying to find a way to get through. We are being hounded by a Ferrari behind us. We'll see who it is. I think that is Leclerc behind us. And it looks like George Russell is getting into the fray there. He's going around the outside of number 16, Charles. And he's going to slow him, hold him up a little bit. They're side by side dragging down this back straight. But George is out of the slipstream at the moment. So it looks like Charles is going to be able to take him. They're kind of sharing the slipstream now, coming down the back straight. And they're going to fight all the way in. Leclerc has the inside line and just manages to squeeze out George Russell, but they are still battling big behind us. That's going to allow this top 3 group to kind of split away. Hamilton's made his way past Giovinazzi, and so we are going to try and find a way past him now. We don't want to lose too much time behind him because Hamilton is going to absolutely just take off into the distance if we don't get past Giovinazzi. We are on pretty even tires at this point, myself and Hamilton, so we should be able to run good pace with him. Run a little wide as Giovinazzi's a little slow through that corner, so we lose a little bit of an attack opportunity there. We're going to try and set him up for the hairpin, closing the gap into this chicane. Trying not to lose too much washout on the front end. Swing out wide. All right, power is down. Everything is cranked up. Looks like we're just a little too far back, so we're going to have to slipstream and attack him down the main straight into the final chicane. But we are right on his tail. Good traction off of that final hairpin. We are right up behind him, catching a little bit of slipstream. We're going to poke out. Now, we don't have quite the straight line speed because of our higher aero setup, but using that extra little bit of engine power, the extra fuel mix, we are able to slip right by him and secure P2. So now we got to try and get ourselves all the way up to Hamilton, who's just set the fastest lap of the race.
Okay, the stewards have now enabled DRS.
All right, so DRS is now enabled for Giovinazzi behind us. We are just outside of that 1 second range to Lewis Hamilton, so we aren't going to have the help, but we're going to hop ahead a few more laps. Romain Grosjean has an engine failure and another safety car here. So only 7 laps after our last pit stop, you know, another safety car. And at this point, we're going to come in, we're going to fit the hards, we're going to take the better time by not pitting under full green flag condition. We're going to go on to hards, go the rest of the way on this race. So 2 safety cars has really thrown our strategy completely out of whack, but we'll see where we come out in the field. All these cars that are staying out, I highly doubt are going to be able to make it to the end of the race. And looks like we went past Gasly on the pit line limiter. Looks like it was just on the exit of the pit lane, not on the actual end of pit line division. So we have to slow down, give him the position back. He was very hesitant to take that position back from us, but we lost a lot of ground with the safety car. And here we are, warping just a little bit ahead to the end of the lap. Again, more fuel save under that safety car. We're going to be able to run the engine pretty hard for the rest of this race. But this time, it looks like George Russell is controlling the field right now in a good spot. But he's going to have to make another pit stop, so that's going to unfortunately lose him out a lot of ground here. But so we're just waiting for him to gun it, get on the throttle. Unfortunately, what would be a good overtaking opportunity, we're not going to be able to do. We're going to have to stay single file until we get to the start-finish line. But we got a great jump on Gasly there. So we are running up early on the brakes just to settle in, make sure we're clean, safe through there, and now we can get on absolute attack mode. We've got it cranked up, catch some slipstream. Let's see, we're going to go ahead and lunge into turn 1. Easy does it, move completed, and now we're looking ahead at Lando Norris. We got to try and carve our way through. Hamilton's about 3 positions up, or 3 cars ahead up of us now, so he is going to be able to create a little bit of a gap on us that once these other cars make their pit stop, will just turn into a clear air gap. And we want to try and keep that as minimal as possible. So we are going to be full attack mode, trying to get through these cars in front of us. They're on more worn tires. So we're hopping ahead just a couple of laps. Lap 22 now, right up behind Lando. Somehow not picking up warning. We've burned off a bit of our fuel. We're going to go ahead and crank everything up for this back straight again. Long lunge from way back, send it down the inside, but we are great on the brakes there. Not even a lockup. We managed to get that position done, and now we've got Devin Butler up ahead of us in the Toro Rosso. May that team not rest in peace. They just changed names for next year, so it's going to be new DRS Open. We're going to look for the... He dives into the pits. We don't have to lunge. So everybody else is in the pits. Now we're back to Hamilton 1, myself number 2, so... It's time to get the hammer down and chase. Absolutely chase on. I believe that's Hamilton. We have to get a little closer, see the numbers on his car to confirm if there's that 44. But here we are. Yep, hopping ahead. Lap 27, another 5 laps further. That is him right in front of us, and we are reeling him in and fighting to catch him up. We've only got... What is that? About 8 laps left to go. We're staying just in the DRS range. We've got plenty of extra fuel. We got about a half a lap of extra fuel on board. So, ooh, definitely going to pick up a track limits warning there. Not a great move for us. But we're going to go ahead and turn it up. I think we've got a good opportunity. The car just got a little loose coming into the chicane, and I just kind of had to bail out. Otherwise, it was into the wall. It would have been curtains for me. So, here we go. Let's try and make the run here. We get a good drive. We're already closing. DRS now open. Everything turned up to the max. We look inside, outside, carry tons of extra speed into the braking zone, skirt it all the way out to the outside curbing, and now we're going to try and build a little bit of a gap. We've already got about a half second on him. It wasn't our best lap of the race, and now we really kind of overcooked turn 1, so we're slow into turn 2. Now it's just a matter of trying to keep these rear tires from lighting up out of these slow corners and managing keeping Lewis behind us, who still a very good racer, very quick car, and I do believe that towards the tail end of the race, he is going to have conserved his tires just a little bit better. I had to take a lot of life out of him to close the gap up, really fought my way back there. But here we are, lap 31 now. He is looking to the inside on the hairpin on us. We are going to kind of pinch him against the apex, give him the room though. Get a little bit of drive out of the side. Max Verstappen, championship leader, has a failure. He is out of the session. Is that going to be another safety car? But it looks like on the mini-map that stopped Blue Dot. He's in a safe position, but now Lewis looking to the inside of us. He's a little slow through the first part. We have to kind of bail out over the curves because we couldn't have the room, but we managed to overtake. It was something I've learned over the last couple of seasons. Is the cars are, the AI, even on high difficulties, is very slow through the first step of that chicane. They really turn in a lot. So it's a good opportunity, even if you're just behind, to kind of make them get to the apex, and you can really kind of straight line the second part of the chicane, just clip the curb, go over it, and manage to keep your position. So that's one attack that we have, in fact, survived from Lewis Hamilton. But it certainly, I don't believe, will be the last, because look at that. He's already all over the back end of us. DRS open. Not going to be quite close enough, so we don't have to go defensive into this back chicane. So, but he is going to be on a good run. We'll get it a little out of sorts coming out of the chicane. He's got a great run. We're going to go defensive, force him to go around the outside of us on the hairpin and kind of take away the space. And he's gone too wide. He's clipped the wall, and that's certainly going to be wing damage for him. So he's made a big mistake, just understeered as he was trying to make the move stick around the outside. He's keeping up with us with the DRS right now, but that is big news. He's just got to try and run. Definitely got a damaged wing from that, but he's just going to stay out for the rest. I think he's missing his end plate at this point, maybe an element or two on the front wing there, but that is good news for us at this point. But there is a hard charging Sergio Perez coming up through the field. That Racing Point, top of the development charts right now, and Sergio Perez, that extremely strong AI that just outperforms the car's ratings every time. He is also on the medium tire. He's on the softer compound, a little bit faster compound, and now you see Lewis dropping back. Now that damage is starting to come into play for him. Now, I wanted to be said, there was no contact. I didn't force him into the wall. He just went a little too deep. I was even trying to leave him space as I opened the wheel out to the end of that hairpin, but he's got to try and get alongside, and he just understeered off. He just carried a little too much speed, got right out to the wall, and bumped his wing, and that was it. So you can see at this point, 2 laps left to go. I just need him to hold up Sergio Perez just a little bit longer to let me get a bit of a gap. But you can see Perez with DRS open. He has gotten past Hamilton coming down the back straight, and now big oversteer moment coming through the wall of champions there. But we managed to keep it on track. But let's see the gap. He is 1.7 back. So we've got 2 laps to go. 2 laps left. We're starting to feel the effects of tire deg. You can see I've moved that front brake bias up to 64% to try and keep those rears from overheating, try and keep those rears from locking under braking. But he is on an absolute tear. Look at the gap he's already opened up to Lewis. But after a win at Monaco, we've got a win in our sights. We had a great fight with Hamilton, and then he made a big mistake, which really opened the door for us. I think if Hamilton hadn't damaged his wing, there's a good chance that he would have absolutely overtaken us for the win, because he was just hounding me lap after lap after I had made that pass. But now got a little bit of room to gap our way to Checo. So here we are down the back straight. He might already be within that 1 second margin. We'll see as we cross the DRS. If he flies by, is that wing open? No, he's just outside that 1 second mark, but he will surely be inside of it the next time we come by. So here we are into the final chicane. Carry as much speed as possible, and there is Perez lurking, hunting, trying to chase us down this time. 1 more lap to go. It is the final lap of the race. We just got to try and nurse the car around. And of course, no relaxation. The best overtaking opportunity is the very end of the lap. So we've definitely got to be clean, try and make a gap. And it's not one that we can really defend too easily on. It's a pure straight line speed situation. So if he's in the DRS range, we are in trouble. Here we are, about to hit the back straight, coming down nearly to the hairpin. A little bit of time between us and Perez. Get on the brakes nice and late. Carry as much speed into the hairpin and out of the hairpin as we can. And use every last bit of energy and fuel that we have on board. He's a little ways behind. He's not in DRS range. It looks like as long as we're clean through the final corners, get on the throttle and pick up another checkered flag waving for us. Back-to-back wins. That's really going to help us out with Verstappen DNFing as well. That's going to really close up
That's P1.
the championship race.
Well done.
So, another fantastic victory for Williams today. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
It was a question of right place, right time today. We were looking at an entirely different race before the safety car came out, but they were able to take full advantage after the field had been bunched up.
It looks like it's time once again to hand out the silverware as the successful drivers make their way to the podium. It was a gritty performance today by Williams, and they've got the race win to prove it. So, let's review the drivers' standings. It wasn't the best weekend for our championship leader, and their advantage at the top has been reduced. Some amazing talents out on the track today, but Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
It's got to be Lando Norris, hasn't it? Smooth, confident and assured. I've got no doubt that he and his team are going to be over the moon with his performance today.
Let's move on to the constructors. Our championship leaders retain their position, but their lead is shrinking. Meanwhile, Ferrari have improved their position. A strong weekend from them as they fight their way towards the top. I'm equal parts exhausted and elated with this weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for the next one.
And Lewis Hamilton picked up a penalty of some kind, of 5-second penalty at some point in the race. But you can see now how tight the top of the table is. We have moved up to P2 in the constructors.
Amazing performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that. It was more like Dodgems than Formula One today, wasn't it?
There was a lot of wheel banging here and there. I mean, it was a little bit of Rubbins racing, and then, of course, there was a couple of wrecks, but I do need to ease it up a little bit. It wasn't my cleanest race.
Did you struggle to get through all that traffic today?
No, there really wasn't a big struggle. I mean, I just pushed as hard as I could and just saw what the race gave me.
We all underestimated you, didn't we?
I mean, you always say this one, but, you know, you underestimated the team, and when we're in sync, great things can happen.
Devon did much better in today's race than he did in qualifying. Were you expecting that?
Oh yeah, I was definitely expecting that. I mean, you can never count him out. He pushes always hard, and that's why he's a good opponent.
Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Claire.
Fantastic podium. Well done. Keep pushing like this for the rest of the season.
I mean, yes, technically a podium, Emma, but it was a win. Come on, give me a little pat on the back. A little something, huh? But man, that was big. A big win coming from P5 in the on the field, and now we've finished off our rivalry with Sebastian Vettel. So we're gonna have to pick a new rival come next race weekend. We've got some points to spend. Let's see what we can afford. Everything's getting pretty pricey at this point. I think we're going to continue down the engine development train. I always want to try it. We have another upgrade already coming next week, but I do want to keep more coming. We already top of the field in our engine developments, but we definitely want to keep it going. And now we've only got 770, so we can really only afford another minor upgrade. We're going to go ahead and take a look at one of these brakes upgrades, try and get a little bit more performance out of those, a little bit less brake fade, able to keep the temperature ideal a little better. We've really fallen down the chassis development list. A lot of teams have kind of overtaken us there, but we're still very close to the top of the list. So hopefully with these upgrades, if we have them all come through, we should have the top car in the development chart. But it was another good race, much better than what we had in Spain, where we had to kind of come through the field. Monaco was a great race, but our first back, well, not our first back. We had back-to-back wins last season in the USA and Mexico. Well, let's see if we can keep this train running, because we are within 10 points of the top of the leaderboard. That DNF from Verstappen was huge, and that safety car really messed with everybody's strategy. Luckily, we were able to adapt well. It was definitely better to take the tires than to stay out on old tires. I think you could see how we just ate up the cars in front of us that stayed out. So definitely grabbing fresh tires both times was the good move, even though they weren't the ideal tire sets at the time. But I mean, you couldn't foresee how short the gap between the two safety cars was going to be. It was only 7 laps. So an ideal situation would have been running medium onto soft and then hards to finish it, but we thought that for sure the second stint was going to be a long stint on the mediums and finish on the softs. But a win's a win, and I will take it. So hopefully we can have another good result coming up at France next week, and we'll have that coming along shortly. So thank you guys for joining me once again. I will see you all a little later. Peace.